Hi, I'm Ralph, and welcome back to the Ageless Runner and to the final episode in the long run series. Ever finish a long run wondering, did I go too easy or too hard? Pacing is one of the most misunderstood parts of endurance training. Run too fast, and you burn through glycogen early and risk overtraining. Run too slow, and you may miss the endurance building benefit that makes you stronger. In this final episode of the long run series, we'll break down the science of pacing, how effort, energy systems, and mental control come together to make your long runs more effective. If episode 1 taught you why slowing down is essential, this episode will show you how to pace with precision, using heart rate zones, perceived effort, and fuel efficiency to get the most from every mile. Let's finish strong. Your long run is the cornerstone of endurance training. It builds your aerobic engine, the system that powers every other workout you do. At a steady, conversational pace, your body creates new capillaries, expands mitochondrial density, and becomes more efficient at burning fat for fuel. But when you run too fast, that process changes. Instead of teaching your body to use fat, you're burning glycogen, the limited high-octane fuel that depletes quickly. Once that tank is empty, pace collapses, form deteriorates, and recovery time stretches out. That's why the long run must feel comfortably hard, steady, sustainable, never frantic. And this is where episode 1 and episode 6 diverge. In episode 1, we expose the problem. Most runners simply go too fast. Today, we build a solution. Episode 6 is about mastery, how to control pace intentionally so you stay in the right training zone and gain endurance without accumulating fatigue. Effort can be divided into 5 broad zones. Zones 1 and 2 are easy aerobic effort, they're fat burning and base building. Zone 3, the gray zone, too fast for recovery and too slow for speed. Zones 4 and 5 are the higher zones, threshold and VO2 max building. They're usually short bursts of high intensity. Most of your long runs should live in zone 2, occasionally brushing the low end of zone 3. Training too often in zone 3 is the classic trap. It feels productive, but builds fatigue faster than fitness. Research on polarized training shows that the ideal mix is roughly 80% easy, 20% hard. That's the 80-20 rule we've talked about in the past. This episode is about teaching you to find that sweet spot where you're working hard enough to adapt, but never so hard that you compromise recovery. Let's talk about the fueling connection. Your pace determines your fuel source. At lower intensities, your muscles rely primarily on fat oxidation for energy, conserving glycogen and allowing you to go longer before fatigue sets in. Push above your aerobic threshold and the balance flips. Carbohydrate becomes dominant and glycogen drains quickly. That's why pacing mistakes feel fine at mile 3, but punishing at mile 10. For runs over 90 minutes, even when paced correctly, you still need to refuel with carbohydrates, about 30 to 60 grams per hour. Fueling supports your pacing strategy. It's not separate from it. The right combination of effort and nutrition trains your body to use both fat and glycogen efficiently, making you a more durable runner. Now let's explore 3 practical pacing models that align with endurance physiology. Number 1 is even effort approach. Run by effort, not by exact pace. Heart rate naturally drifts upward over time. Maintaining even effort means pace may slow slightly as fatigue increases. This is the classic aerobic base builder and the safest strategy for long run development. Number 2 is the negative split. Start controlled and finish slightly faster, about 5 to 10 seconds per mile quicker in the final third. This teaches pacing discipline, fuel efficiency, and mental confidence. It's ideal for advanced runners preparing for races. Then all this involves number 3, run, walk, run integration. Run, walk, run isn't just for beginners. It's a pacing tool that regulates heart rate drift and reduces muscle fatigue. A rhythm like 2 minutes running, 30 seconds walking allows older runners to sustain steady effort longer without overreaching. Now each model emphasizes controlled stress and efficient recovery. The principle is to separate progress from breakdown. Pacing isn't about how fast you go, it's about how well you manage your effort over long distance. How do you measure effort? Well, use 3 tools together. First is heart rate. Heart rate is objective feedback. Aim for 65 to 75% of your max heart rate. Expect upward drift in heat and dehydration. The hotter it is, the more dehydrated you are, the more your heart's going to work. Then look at pace. Useful for benchmarking, but terrain and wind can mislead. I monitor my pace, but I never react much to it. Then use rate of perceived exertion, sometimes called RPE. It's subjective but powerful. A 5 or 6 out of 10 effort. Steady, rhythmic, sustainable. It's ideal for long runs. As a rule of thumb, if 2 out of 3 signals say slow down, slow down. Over time, you'll calibrate internal perception to match external data, a skill elite runners develop through years of feedback and awareness. Now, the mental side of a pacing is what keeps endurance sustainable. Learning to hold back early so you can finish strong is a form of metacognition, awareness of your effort and fatigue levels. In episode 1, we talk about ego, the urge to prove fitness on every long run. In episode 6, ego evolves into insight. You're no longer reacting to effort, you're managing it. That's the psychological shift that turns a runner into an athlete who endures decade after decade. Now here are 3 big pacing traps. 1, starting too fast, the race day adrenaline mistake. And number 2, running every long run in the gray zone, that's zone 3. Hard enough to fatigue, not hard enough to improve. And number 3, skipping fuel because you felt fine or feel fine until glycogen says otherwise. Each error steals adaptation and delays recovery. The best runners finish their long runs knowing they could do 1 more mile, not wishing they stopped 1 mile sooner. And that brings us full circle. In episode 1, you learned why most runners pace too fast. In episode 2, you fueled smarter. Episode 3, we talked about strengthening your mindset. Episode 4 talked about recovery. And episode 5, the last episode, built safe progression. And now episode 6 ties it all together with pacing, the element that unites effort, energy, and endurance. The long run isn't just about logging miles. It's about understanding your body, controlling your effort, and building fitness that lasts a lifetime. If you followed this series, you've built the full toolkit for running stronger, longer, and ageless. Tell me in the comments which episode made the biggest difference for you and what topic you'd like to explore next. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, I'd really love it if you would like it. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and click that subscribe icon. Again, I'm Ralph, the Ageless Runner. We're here to help you run smarter, go longer, and stay ageless. Thank you.